Okay, music students everywhere, listen very carefully. A right note played at a wrong time is a wrong note. Okay? Let me say that again. A right note played at a wrong time is still a wrong note, right? I really make a big deal about counting. And I think that in a lot of ways what divides the really great musicians from the average musicians are those who can count and those who cannot, right? It's so easy to just focus in on, well, I got all the notes right, you know, just the black dots on the white page, I got all that covered, and to forget that there's so many other details surrounding that page of music to make it really come alive. And one of the most important is just simply being able to count. I cannot emphasize enough the importance with a beginner of making sure that the counting happens, that you're using a metronome, that the teacher is very clearly specifying where the beats are landing at all times, that every note has a time and a place and it must be precise, right? And if you can get that early on, my goodness, that will follow with you for the rest of your life and really will separate you out as being a more proficient musician probably than your peers one day. And so get the counting right, and then get the other stylistic parts of the music right as well. You know, all throughout that piece or that you're performing is the opportunity to personalize it, to draw out of it the emotion and passion, and to have that sort of an individual character to the song. But then of course there are things that the composer wants you to get right as well, all of the dynamic symbols and the other just specific details that are scored there on the page. And so I just would say to musicians everywhere, don't miss the details, and don't underestimate the importance of counting. Teachers, emphasize this. There's nothing more frustrating than when I acquire a student from another teacher and this student can't count. I have to ask myself every time, what was the teacher thinking? What were they doing? You know, I mean, it can be a struggle for any student, but it can be learned. And make a big deal, teachers, about counting with your students. And students, when your teacher does that, understand it is for your good. You will be a far superior musician if you will learn to count early on. It really is a big deal. So I started piano when I was 5. Throughout my school years, I added some other instruments, saxophone in the 5th grade. I started playing guitar when I was about 7th grade, and kind of just tinkered around with a couple other instruments. And so I've always enjoyed music. I sang in choirs growing up. I was in band, and loved Broadway, loved going to concerts, and just had a lot of great experiences. I studied church music in school. My first real job as a musician was actually at a church in Midland, Michigan, where I was the minister of music, and there was also a private day school associated with the church, and so I had the opportunity to direct choirs, to teach private lessons, to conduct the school bands, and so I had a great experience there, wonderful memories of my time in Midland, Michigan. My path to Tampa happened around year 2004. And we came to Tampa to work for another church in the area, and a similar job description, working with the church music program, conducting the choirs, and there was actually an opportunity to teach private lessons, music lessons there at the church. And so I enjoyed those years as well. I served at that church from 2004 until this past fall, 2011, and that's when I started the Tampa Bay Music Academy.